Welcome to Liberty High School. Tonight we are excited to host the semifinal matchups of the inaugural St. Louis Champions League. The winners of this match will move on to play the final at kickoff Park Soccer Complex, Championship Field Number 1, this Saturday, October 19th at 7 p.m. Thank you for attending this tremendous event, and let's make tonight a celebration of St. Louis High School soccer. Now let's meet the starters on CBC. Number 1, Stone DeGrief. Number 2, Caden Ellis. Number 3, TJ Crowder. Number 4, James Martin. Number 5, Logan Hartzell. Number 6, Ethan Norkitis. Number 7, Stevie Jones. Number 8, Ryan Rook. Number 9, Carter Griffin Horst. Number 10, Nolan Berkey. And number 11, Adam Nicoletti. And now for St. Dominic. Number 0, Luke Pashia. Number 3, Christian Schultz. Number 4, Mason Phillips. Number 5, Chase Morgan. Number 6, Nick Martinez. Number 7, Lucas Sotile. Number 9, Jake Kuhn. Number 10, Johnny Pestruso. Number 11, Charlie Lafada. Number 13, Evan Schmidt. And number 22, Connor Myers.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. We are on the road this week at Liberty for a very, very special occasion. In this, the first year of the inaugural CBC High School Champions League, this is the second of 2 semifinal games. The CBC cadets are on the right side of your screen. They're wearing all white uniforms, some special long-sleeve jerseys for tonight. And at the other end, St. Dominic High School in navy blue jerseys, navy blue shorts, light blue socks. It is the cadets against the Crusaders in, yes, you heard it correctly, a Champions League semifinal. We are so thrilled to be with you this evening as we get ready for this one. We do apologize for the late kickoff. There was plenty of excitement here at Liberty High School just before this. The first semifinal took place. It was DeSmet leading Liberty 3-2 with about 12 minutes left in the second half. Liberty equalized. That ended regulation tied at 3-3. 2 scoreless periods of overtime led us to penalty shootouts where DeSmet triumphed over the Eagles. So DeSmet has advanced. They have booked a date with the final of this tournament on Saturday. The Cadets and the Crusaders looking to join them. My name is Tom Eichwald. Joining me in the booth tonight is Randy Gardner, as always. Randy, Champions League soccer on CSN. Did you ever think you'd say those words in that order?
Never did. But what a great night for soccer. A little bit of a late start. Now we're about 45 minutes behind, but definitely worth the wait. That game before us went all the way into penalty kicks. Exciting game all the way through. No matter who wins this game, it's going to be a tough test against DeSmet on Saturday night. Just finding out that game is at 7 o'clock at kickoff Park on the stadium field, which is field number 1.
So CBC versus St. Dominic. If that sounds familiar to you and you've been watching CBC soccer, it's because it just happened last week. The Cadets falling 1-0 That was just last Thursday at 7 p.m. That game was at St. Dominic. So the Cadets looking to bounce back, and St. Dominic looking to do something that is very, very difficult to do, beat one of your rival schools twice in a row. These two have come up against each other so much over the years, and if you were to define this game, this fixture each year, with one word, it would be respect. The respect that CBC has for Coach Keller and the job he has done at St. Dominic for so many years and vice versa. The respect we know Coach Keller has for Coach Mickler and the CBC program. Always a lot of fun, and we are thrilled to be a part of this one.
What's fun about this is that all these guys play club ball together. They all know each other. Yes, it's going to be a good physical game. We saw that the other night over at St. Dominic, but a lot of pride riding on this, not amongst just the schools, but the players themselves.
We are underway. Again, CBC, they're going right to left across your screen wearing the all-white uniforms, and St. Dominic wearing the dark blue with the light blue socks. They are going left to right. Champions League Soccer on CSN. It is a nice crisp evening out here. First time this season we've seen the blankets brought out. We've got, imagine, some hand warmers down there. There's a young man, one of our students, wearing shorts watching this game. No matter what, there's always a kid in shorts, Randy.
I was going to say it's one of those nights where as the game progresses from the time you warm up to the time this game moves into the second half, you're going to start to see some dew on the ground. Ball's going to get a little bit slicker. And sometimes it's that simple mistake, that simple missettling of the ball that causes a problem.
And we are nice and toasty in a press box, but Braden Spikogi is not. Braden is up on top of the press box bringing you all the pictures tonight. And he is such an impressive young man and does a great job. We know he's going to bring you great pictures tonight. And he'll come in and warm up at halftime. But I will say he's an experienced cameraman. He brought his layers tonight. He is not wearing shorts.
I told him earlier today, whatever you think you need, bring twice as much. And I brought a couple backup coats just for some gloves and stuff like that.
But Braden came prepared, and so are we. CBC comes into this game 10-9-1. It's been kind of an up-and-down season for the Cadets, although they are coming in off of 2 back-to-back wins against Sacred Heart Griffin. That was a 6-0 game. And then Eureka, 2-1, that score on Monday evening. So the Cadets coming in with maybe a little bit of form. On the other side, St. Dominic also coming in with 2 wins. They have only dropped 2 the entire season. Yes, that is correct. They have won all but 2 games. Those are both losses to De Smet and Borgia, both of those 1-0. So a very, very impressive Crusader squad. And, Randy, you did see these teams match up last week. Any thoughts on the matchup we'll see tonight?
Looking at the game last week, let's take a step back to the Sacred Heart game on Saturday. Yeah, the game was a 6-0 game. Could have been more. Not the strongest team down in Springfield, so you really can't judge where we're at as far as a team in the season off that game. Yes, an impressive win. We needed that kind of output with the goals and just kind of getting back into the swing and knowing that you can move the ball, that you can score some goals. And then you come into the Eureka game the other night and hang on. It was 2-0. Then they ended up scoring late in the game, making it 2-1. But we were able to hold on. But taking that step back against Dominic last week, that was a good, tough, hard, physical game. And I think what we learned from it as far as playing a team that going into that game had only lost 1 game. I think they were 10-1 going into that game. Is that we can compete against teams at that level, no matter what their record is, and that's something I think with this up and down kind of season, we really needed that.
Early foul committed. It was Lafada brought down for St. Dominic, so this will be a free kick. Stepping up to take it is Mason Phillips. As soon as we get a chance after this free kick, we'll run you through the starting lineups for those 2 teams. Phillips, a little bit too low, I think. And Lafada on the turn. That's a nice effort on the turn, but just not able to get the power on it, get it on target. Let's do starting lineups. We will start with the Crusaders, of course, coached by Greg Keller, assisted by Kevin Cooksey. And they are lined up as this. Luke Pasha in goal, the sophomore goalkeeper. In front of him, number 3, Christian Schultz. 4, Mason Phillips. 5, Chase Morgan. 6, Nick Martinez. 7, Lucas Satilli. 9, Jake Cooney. 10, Johnny Petruso. 11, Charlie Lafada. 13, Evan Schmidt. And 22, Connor Myers. That is the St. Dominic Crusaders. Going left to right across your screen, trying to stop them, the Cadets, with Stone to Grief in goal. Very pleasing for the traditionalists out there. because the starting lineup is just straight 1 through 11, just like it used to be. Stone to Grief with number 1 in goal, of course. Caden Ellis, number 2. Number 3, TJ Crowder. Then James Martin, Logan Hartzell, Ethan Norkitis, Stevie Jones, Ryan Rook, Carter Griffinhorst, Nolan Berkey, and Adam Nicoletti rounding it out with the number 11.
Yeah, 2 sophomore goalkeepers going at it tonight. Nice to see. A couple youngsters.
St. Dominic will play it around the back a little bit. Mentioned the game before us. A phenomenal game between Liberty and DeSmet. Went all the way down to the wire. An equalizer inside of 12 minutes. DeSmet's goalkeeper made a number of outstanding saves in overtime just to keep it tied. So very, very impressive performance from them. You know they're going to be feeling really good coming off of that one, waiting for the winner of this game. Martin crosses it in. And that is dealt with really nicely by, I think that was 6, Nick Martinez.
So I think the key to this game early, actually for both teams, is to not let your emotions take over. As you mentioned, a very highly anticipated game coming into this one. Both teams loving to play each other. You mark this on the schedule, and then you get to play them 2 times in basically a week here. So you're a little bit familiar with what you saw last week. You can make some adjustments, but I think just staying calm, just let the ball do the work, find the open man, and look for that through ball.
This is Brad Greco crossing it in. We didn't have him on our starting lineup, so it looks like he might be starting in place of Connor Myers. So Greco, the freshman, looks like getting the start tonight. Either that or there was a jersey swap. But we're going to call him Greco. We're going to go with the roster we've got. So that is Brad Greco over here on the right side. And it was not Martinez on the tackle just a few moments ago. It was Jake Cooney. We're going to get a whistle, I think offsides. So this will be coming out for CBC. Jake Cooney, I was thrown. I thought maybe it was an 8, but then I thought, well, I don't see an 8 starting, so it must be number 6, defensive midfielder. It is the number 9 playing defensive midfielder.
Well, you didn't bring your binoculars tonight. That could be some of the issue.
Little tiny numbers out there.
New white jerseys for the squad tonight. New white long sleeve jerseys. Nice and easy to see the numbers on the back.
It is.
You were down there before the game. What's on? Is it a number on the front or the Champions League logo?
I didn't get a great look at them beforehand. I believe it's got a Champions League logo on the sleeve, but a small number on the front. And it is, of course, adorned with the 10 stars for the 10 CBC state championships. And I never thought I would say this on the air, but Coach Terry Mickler in the year 2024 trying to accomplish something he's never accomplished before, which is to win the Champions League. You know what this would mean to him? All these years talking about elite competition in the St. Louis area and some of the programs and trying to promote something like this, and to have the opportunity in the semifinals to potentially play for a brand new regional competition, you know what this would mean to him.
Yeah, we were talking about it today in terms of how you would fare this in terms of like comparing it to a state championship, what it means to the players and what it means to coaches and schools and organizations as this thing starts to build and you become the inaugural winner.
Yeah, I think that would be really kind of a crown jewel. You know, I don't know that necessarily it would add a star to the jerseys because the stars on the crest are pretty standard for, you know, winning a state championship. But
is it one of those things that becomes that big in the future, do you think?
I think there's definitely some promise to it. You know, it depends on, you know, of course, you got to get a good consistent run. You know, you got to build it over time. But, you know, the backing is there. You know, the coaches who have put this thing together are established coaches, you know, people who've been around forever. So it certainly has a lot of roots, and you hope it can continue. But I think we were talking about this last time we were on the air together, Randy, that one of the keys, you know, Coach Mickler talks about a season where you can potentially do some damage in the postseason, is that, as we'll get back to the action, early shot from Lafada saved by DeGrief. But the importance of winning a tournament at some point in the season, of facing a sort of elimination game back against the wall, knowing you need to perform on a certain day as opposed to a regular season game where you love to win, but you got another one scheduled the next day. So I think this is, you know, he's using this as, it is meaningful in itself, but using this as an opportunity to really kind of test and build the character of the team.
Yeah, as you move through that
great early ball for Petruso. Lafada with the left foot, and that is gobbled up by DeGrief, and it doesn't take much for Dominic to hurt you.
A good movement through the middle there and playing that ball into space. They've done that a couple of times as they come down through the middle. We saw that the other night over at Dominic where quick 1-2, and when I mean quick, it's quick. It's touch and move and scoring opportunity. But as you look on, we've got it on the wall here, but you look at it, we basically, after tonight, 3 games left in the season. So there's not a lot of time to really, you've got to have your team in past midseason form right now, ready for districts.
Dominic working the ball around the back. You mentioned the run they have had this season, just an outstanding season they have had. Rattled off 11 straight wins to start the season. Only giving up in that stretch 7 goals in the first 11 games. So this is a team who can stymie and frustrate you, too, in addition to that quick threat we've seen.
Well, and then vice versa, you look at us. We start off 0-3, which I don't think is always a bad thing. I know everybody was a little down on what's going to happen, but sometimes that puts things into perspective as far as the season itself in terms of building character amongst the team and pulling these kids together.
Back to the action here. Dominic attacking off the left. This is Lafada. Look for him and Petruso up top to be the primary central attacking threats. And that is going to be out for a CBC throw. One more time, the starting lineups. If you're just joining us for CBC, it's DeGrief, Ellis, Crowder, Martin, Hartzell, Norkritis, Jones, Rook, Griffinhorst, Berkey, and Nicoletti. And for St. Dominic, it is Pasha, Schultz, Phillips, Morgan, Martinez, Sotilli, Cooney, Petruso, Lafada, Schmidt, and we believe Brad Greco instead of Connor Myers.
Tomorrow night, football, or Friday, I'm thinking tonight's Thursday. We usually have these games on Thursday night. Friday night football here will not be on CSN. We'll be releasing the link that you'll be able to watch that game. The varsity football team will be in Peoria playing Peoria Notre Dame out of Illinois. That game will be at 7 o'clock on Friday night. We'll have the link here on CSN and social media for you to be able to follow and watch. And then we're back at home the following Friday night against St. Mary's for senior night. That'll be the last regular season home game of the year.
Here's Lafada. Gets around Hartzell. Good opportunity for the Crusaders. Centering pass. Petruso had a shot blocked by Ellis. What a block by Ellis that was. Petruso was wide open, had the shot, but Ellis just stuck that boot out and got it. And that's headed over to Grief and out of play. Scary moment there for Stone, I'm sure, as he got beat to it by a Dominic head, but that is out. What a block that was by Caden Ellis.
Yeah, right now, Dominic kind of controlling the movement of the ball, controlling the movement of the game. They're finding the space. Again, as I mentioned, just you'll see that work out through rhythms throughout the game where we'll be in control for a while, they'll be in control for a while. It's just part of feeling this game out. The one thing you don't want to do is go down early, though, and have to start pressing, and then you get down another goal, and then you really have to press.
This is out to be a CBC throw. Would like to see a nice attacking possession for the Cadets as they settle into this one. So far, the early attacks have been all Crusaders. CBC really hasn't gotten the ball into the defensive third for St. Dominic at all tonight. That is going to be headed back by Lafada. The return pass is not there from Evan Schmidt. Griffinhorst goes down. Looks like Griffinhorst is playing on the... he's kind of on a left wing position right now, but he'll make his way back forward, I'm sure.
It's kind of hard right now to see and feel our formation. We're definitely playing guys a lot higher than what we've been playing in the past two or three games, which is not an issue, but what it does is it leaves that space that you're seeing where they're creating the middle, like right there, that's leaving that open a little bit. Good job by us to get back. When you're going to push your guys up like that, you're going to get a lot of movement out of your center midfield, your defensive midfield. They've got to go both ways quick, and that's where you start to wear them down. And I like seeing the offensive, a little bit of an offensive push, especially with a talented team against St. Dominic. That's where you catch them maybe a little off guard.
So you're seeing Nolan Berkey playing up high.
Yeah. I mean, look how many guys you got up top now. You have 5 guys and a runner.
So you have Nolan Berkey kind of playing up top. Underneath him, I guess alongside him technically is Carter Griffinhorst. But Griffinhorst looks like he's actually playing left wing. Yeah, this could be dangerous. Schmidt passes instead of shoots. Lafada can't bring it in. Hartzell has to be alert and clears it.
Nice movement there by St. Dom.
It was. Just 1 or 2 passes is all it takes him.
Well, and you saw him leave that ball. That just comes from the rhythm of playing with your players for the entire season, working in practice, and just knowing that run's going to be there.
Yeah, so it's looking like it is going to be going back to the formation here. Looks like it's Berkey up top with Stevie Jones on the right wing, Carter Griffinhorst on the left wing, Ethan Norkaitis playing an advanced midfield role. Adam Nicoletti looks like he's playing, that's TJ Crowder over here on the near side, so Adam Nicoletti looks like he's playing right back.
Yeah, and Ryan Rook looks like he's staying a little deeper than what he usually does.
It's Norkaitis poking it ahead. Jones can't get there, but Ethan regains. Closed down immediately by St. Dominic, forced to play it back.
I'm a big fan of crowding that middle of the field as a coach. That's kind of my coaching style with my boys is crowd that middle of the field and make them have to play through you. And if they can't play through you and you can control the middle of the field, they've got to play around you and they can't hurt you on the outside.
Chance for James Martin. The pass inside is intercepted by Phillips.
And that's what it does right there. It creates that space for us to always have a player in the middle.
And that was Ryan Rook resetting possession. Yeah, Ryan Rook looks like he's, right now he's playing at the base of the midfield, but might kind of be filling in for Martin. Or no, that doesn't look like fill-in. So it looks like Ryan Rook is kind of playing that defensive midfield role with James Martin playing the holding role and Ethan Norkaitis the attacking role. So the number 6 is playing the 8 role, or the number 6 is playing the 10 role. The 10 is playing the 9. I'm going to stop there. I'm not gonna go too far down that road.
I'm still kind of the old school, just calling it by what it is. Defensive midfield, attacking midfield.
Hartzell looking for his winger. And good job by Stevie to force that out. We are just a little under halfway through the first half. CBC against St. Dominic. This is scoreless. If you are joining us late, this is the second of 2 semifinals here at Liberty High School tonight. The first, dangerous moment here. Ellis has to poke it away. But I think Petruso was very nearly through. Now this is Lafada.
Caden Ellis has such quick closing speed, and his vision of the game and to make a decision on whether to jump a ball or not is incredible.
Greco, give and go. Still Greco. Gets inside, beats 2. Can't get the shot away. Lafada will, and that's not far off, and there is danger all over the St. Dominic attack. It's primarily, as I mentioned before, Petruso and Lafada in the middle, but then you add Greco coming in off the right, the quickness that he's got, some nice involvement over on the other side from Lucas Satilli. You really have a lot of danger up there. And you mentioned Caden Ellis. He's already had maybe 2 or 3 really key interventions.
Yeah, Colbeck comes into the game right now for Stevie Jones. Looks like he's going to play a little bit of that attacking midfield. So freshman.
There's Norkaitis. This is Beck. TJ Crowder, always eager to get involved up here on this left side. Now Ethan. Really been impressed with Norkaitis so far this season. Not the biggest guy in stature, but he covers more ground at once than I've seen anybody. Just kind of sprawls himself out, makes himself play stronger than you would expect, and is just almost impossible to take the ball off of.
Yeah, he's one of those kids who never gives up.
No.
He loses the ball, he re-engages quickly, and that is so important out of a player is that if you make a mistake, you can re-engage quickly and make up for that mistake.
Nicoletti looking for Berkey over the top. Full stretch from Christian Schultz to head that out, and good hustle to make sure it got out.
Yeah, Ethan, another player who just seems to do the right thing with the ball. Gets his head up before the ball gets there, plays it, moves it, switches fields. He's still a junior, so he still has another year left.
Opportunity for CBC on Caden Ellis's long throw. If you haven't seen CBC so far this season, this is quite a weapon for the Cadets as he stretches out those shoulders. And he's going to fling this thing in there. You hear the nice away call from the keeper as Chase Morgan heads it out.
What's funny, Tom, is I was going back through all of the games, pulling all of the goals, kind of making a highlight tape of like the goals of the year for the end of the year. And I would say half of them come off some kind of throw-in, deep throw-in like this.
Unless you defend them all the time, it's just hard to convince yourself the ball's going to travel as far as it does.
And it comes in at a different angle than a corner kick, so it's a little harder to judge.
Headed out by Satilli. Ellis will put this right back in. Nice move to get to the sideline. He's going to cross it in. It's back post. Berkey's going to have to chase this, and the Cadets will have to reset. Berkey loses out, and he gets called for the foul. I think he'll be frustrated with that one as it just got tangled up there with Schmidt. But fair enough call.
As we mentioned, 3 games left here in the season. Tomorrow night we were supposed to play Gateway Legacy at home. That game has been canceled. And then our next game is against Francis Howell North, and then at SLU and at Fort Zumwalt South to round out the year. But we do play hopefully Saturday night. We'll see about that in terms of the championship. Final game will be Saturday night at 7 at Creve Coeur. No matter who's in that game, it's going to be a good game.
It will be. It will be. Just a moment ago, we saw a nice switch from CBC, but Martin on the return pass couldn't find Nolan Berkey. And now Cadets are in business again. This is Norkitis. He's drifted out to the wing. That's blocked. Ethan says it was with a hand. Referee disagrees, and here comes Satilli. 18.5 remaining in this first half. Scoreless between CBC and St. Dominic. Just met players, maybe right about getting home, settled in, working on their homework, and maybe turning on CSN to see who they're going to play. Welcome all of our viewers. Of course, this is the Cadet Student Network, so we welcome all of our CBC family who are tuning in, all of our alums, families, players, students, faculty members. But we are glad to have you as well if you're watching for St. Dominic. We are glad to have you along with us. If you're just interested in what this Champions League thing is about and don't have any connection to these two schools, we're glad to have you. So thank you very much for tuning in. Alongside Randy Gardner, I am Tom Eichwald. We got Braden Spikogi working on the pictures he's bringing you tonight. And it has been an interesting game so far. You'd have to say the better of it has gone to St. Dominic. CBC starting to show little glimpses.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like the Cadets are starting to fall into this game, into the rhythm of the game. Getting some nice movement of the ball. Control, I think down the middle, I think we're controlling the middle of the field, except for when the ball gets in our defensive third. They're finding some opportunities on the touch and move.
It's a great turn by Logan Hartzell and a nice run to follow it. Loses out to Rook. All right, now this is James Martin on the right side. That's the second time Rook has found Martin out there. Last time he crossed it in. This time he'll dribble a little bit. Tries to lay it inside for Norkitis. But Nicoletti will back him up. Nicoletti's got a lot of speed, so wouldn't be surprised to see him take off from that area. As Rook loses out, he goes down. Dangerous situation here. This is a 3-on-3. Dangerous, dangerous players. This is Lafata. He's got Petruso to his left. This is Jack Petruso, right-footed shot, and that is off the football crossbar. That is very, very dangerous.
I'll tell you what, looking from up here, that's almost like straight off the training field, something that you train from when you're a youngster, the 3-on-3 and the movement and where you're going to play the ball and how you're going to move.
Just for the record, that was a guy with 5 assists in Lafata feeding a guy with 18 goals in Petruso. So CBC a bit fortunate that he hits the woodwork. And I'm just so impressed with the quickness of this St. Dominic attack. Just seems like 1 or 2 passes and they're in dangerous areas. This is really going to be a test for Hartzell and Ellis, and then DeGrief behind him to keep him organized, because if you switch off for a moment, one of those guys drifts into space, you are in serious trouble.
You got to keep your head on the swivel in this game, especially with all that, like you mentioned, that movement. Nico Garoni checks into the game, playing up top here on the left.
Well, and right now you have Cole Beck, the freshman, kind of matched up against Lafata one-on-one. So that is a big test for him.
Yeah, Lucas Sheramatero in the game up top now.
Martin has drifted wide on that right side for a few minutes now. And a good turn. This is Norkitis. It was Beck who found him.
Nice
in the middle. Berkey. Good ball in front. Martin stopped his run. Just a little bit late. Martin stopped it because he was about to drift offside. And that's the difference.
That's where that one extra touch, you take that one extra touch out of that play and play it through, he stays onside.
Norkitis and Crowder over here on the near side. Mistake from Crowder, sets Lafata up. Look at that turn. Just gets it onto his left foot, turns into space, back on his right foot, and now over to Schmidt. Schmidt working against, that is Garoni. Cross. Satili's at the back post. Good job by Nicoletti to come inside with him. And then Ellis is first to it. And I think he draws the foul.
Yeah. Very impressed with the season Caden Ellis has had. We talked about him last year, pretty much playing right back the entire season last year. Now moved into that center role. Kind of floats around in the different spots, but basically plays in that center back role. And like I said, he's unbelievable at seeing and reading the game.
Let's restart. It will be a throw. And Nicoletti will take it. Berkey dropping in deep. You know, one thing I do like, Randy, is that there's been a lot of kind of interchange with players. Martin was inside. He's drifted out wide now. Berkey was up top. He's drifted underneath. Just changing up the looks for St. Dominic. I think at times CBC has gotten a little, mistake there. Sheramatero could be in business. He's through. It's off his foot, and I don't know that he's going to keep that in. Very, very fortunate as that just got away from Christian Schultz, the senior defender. But could have been an opportunity for Sheramatero, just unable to control it.
Yeah, I think this game ultimately is either going to come down to a game where one team wins 4 or 5-0 or wins on a mistake, on a simple mistake.
But going back to the points, it seems like at times CBC has gotten a little predictable, a little bit stagnant in some of the games we've seen. Good players, good ideas, but sometimes it's just a little bit the same. I like the movement around, trying different positions, attacking from different angles.
Well, and with the same players on the field without subbing,
exactly,
which really confuses a defensive team. I'll let you go ahead and call this report.
Petruso closed down from the backside by Nicoletti. Lafata just under his foot. You can see he was kind of caught between one time and that with the left and trying to control it, and it just rolled out.
Because as a player, you've kind of got your head on the swivel. You're watching. Okay, I've got number 7. I got to keep my eye on him. Well, now number 7's out on the left wing. He's not your guy anymore. That kind of simple movement like you're talking about, it just switching up, that confuses a defense tremendously.
Well, and most of the time you're looking forward. Most of the time you're not looking at the man you're marking because you get the ball, especially St. Dominic's had the ball in great areas, so they're looking forward. When you turn around, you're kind of counting on seeing the same number in the same spot, and just those split seconds where it takes you a second to find your guy can really open up some space for speedy attackers. And CBC's got no shortage of speed. Sheramatero can run. You got all kinds of speed up there.
Yeah, a ton of talent on this team. It's just we and it's not just CBC. It's every team at every high school in St. Louis that goes through this, is that you've got these kids who play for 10 different select clubs, all different styles, and then you try to pull them together. You got 2 or 3 weeks of training before the season and then about 8 weeks of a season to take all these different ideas and and styles that these kids have played and put them together and make it work. That's a lot to ask for.
And then it leads right back to what we were saying about tournaments. It's one thing to be in shape, but that kind of game stress you can't simulate. There's another level of that where you go from just a regular game to a tournament game where you kind of put a little bit more stress on the system, see how it holds up. This is Satilli. He's attacking down the left, matched step for step by Nicoletti, who early on is doing a really nice job at right back over there. We've seen him play forward so much. We've seen him get involved in the attack over the course of the season. Tough ask over there with Satilli, but he's doing a great job.
Well, and for some of these teams, we've got 3 more games left in our season. Most teams are in that probably 3 to 4 range of games left in terms of their regular season, and maybe one district game, and a lot of these schools are knocked out and gone. They're back to their club teams, which I always say there's nothing like high school soccer, I mean,
especially as the weather gets colder.
It's just the longevity of what the high school game means. I mean, I'm 56 years old, and you're looking at 40 years since high school. I can still smell the air. Like tonight, I'm back playing. It never leaves you, I don't think.
This is Beck on the turn.
And just playing for the pride of your school. I mean, that's to hear these kids and see these kids at school wear their jackets and be part of a
long-range effort from LaFada. That was not far off, folks.
To be part of something that is bigger than yourself, I think, is one of the coolest things.
Something you don't necessarily have with the club game. Of course, with clubs, you do have high-level coaches, you got high-level scouts, you got all of the premier players in the area playing for clubs. What you can't simulate is having a couple hundred of your classmates standing there cheering you on. Just that atmosphere that you get in the high school game, which takes nothing away from the player development work that's being done in the club game here. It's phenomenal, but just a totally different environment.
And for a couple years, you've seen players decide to play club ball over high school ball, but you see that trend kind of starting to spin back around where a lot of these kids across the St. Louis area have realized, hey, I get 2 shots at high school soccer, maybe more if you're playing up or whatever, but as far as junior, senior year, you got 2 shots at it to win a state championship, something that you can take with you for your entire life.
Quick shout out for Jake Cooney on that control. You just saw him bring it down, work it around behind and away. That is, it's not easy to do, but the speed with which he just did that effortlessly tells you everything you need to know about the technical skill of the St. Dominic team and the work that Coach Keller has done. So, quick Jake Cooney appreciation moment there. Just a subtle thing, that you see at the high school level in this area, that it's college skill essentially is what it is.
And what I think when you look at. You mentioned before about the respect of all the coaches and players and all that kind of stuff. You look out on the field, and at this high school level right now, these players are the premium of the premium. You're getting to the area with the club teams and the high school teams. As you move higher, the numbers start to shrink and shrink and shrink, and now it's the best of the best all the time.
7:20 to go here in the first half. Scoreless between CBC and St. Dominic. The winner of this game advances to the first ever Champions League final here in St. Louis. As the Cadets would love to book that appointment. This is Garoni. Left-footed cross, and that is headed out by Schultz. And this will set up a corner kick. CBC getting a little bit into it. The engine took a while to warm up on a cold night, but it's turning over nicely now. I think we got a game on our hands.
Nice job by Nico there to create some space and force a corner.
That is a short corner. Martin, right foot. What a save that is. What a save that is by Pasha. He tracked it all the way, pops it up over the bar. Little confusion from the crowd as it hit the underside of the football bar.
Yeah, I thought it actually went in. It hit it and came back.
It hit the underside of the football post and then off the top of the net. So you saw the net move. But a nice shot by Martin. Good save by Pasha.
That had goal written all over it from our angle.
Another corner from the other side. This is Crowder. Left foot. It's high. Drops in. Cleared initially only as far as Martin, and the Cadets will send it right back in. Adam Nicoletti, the lone man back for the Cadets. Everybody else forward. Martin with the turn. Oh, that would have been nice.
Yeah. And you can see that pendulum of momentum start to swing a little bit in the Cadet favor here now. That cycle we mentioned at the beginning of the game that kind of happens in a soccer game, especially with two teams as talented as this, it's going to happen.
The momentum turn doesn't always have to be a goal. Sometimes it's just that, shot that kind of jolts the system a little bit.
Or just controlling the ball, just slowing it down, moving the ball, making the other team chase.
That's a good move there. I think Dominic is in a great spot here. This is Schmidt from the far side. Back on the left, Schmidt, that is wide. As it was really well worked. Trying to get a number on the player. Got that move started over there on that left side. And he is sure not turning to show it to us. I think that was number 6, Nick Martinez, maybe. Or is that 16, Chase Meyer on? Oh, no, 15. So that was Gavin Kleeschulte over there.
Good thing you got your binoculars.
It is a good thing I got
can't
my
even
binoculars.
come close to seeing that far.
Well, you kind of see the rounded edge of a number, and then, every once in a while you commit to saying a player's name, and that's the time the player decides he's going to just have his shoulders turned to you the entire time. Because, of course, there's numbers on the front, numbers on the back, nothing on the side. So
we need a spotter.
Sometimes they give you nothing to work with. Maybe we can talk to the STEM program about having some sort of augmented reality plexiglass that we bring around with us that'll just show you the names underneath the players and stats as we're watching on this big board.
That would be nice. How about just heat?
We'll take that. We got a nice heater under the
yeah, this is nice.
The counter tonight. They've been very hospitable to us here at Liberty. They've given us a nice spot in the press box.
Yeah, I want to say thanks to Kerry Eldridge, the athletic director here at Liberty, for his hospitality and very nice press box. It's got heat in it. We're up top shooting camera. We're in here. We've got a lot of space. It's really nice, so we appreciate it very much.
And while we're saying thank yous, we wouldn't be doing any of this without the support of our sponsors, which we'll tell you about throughout the game tonight. But first, let's get the action here. Charmatero's pass is blocked. And he's in a bit of a weird spot trying to chase that one. Ball just agonizingly gets away from him. Now Lafada on the turn. Petruso wants to shoot every time he gets it. On the right, blocked again by Ellis.
I had an opportunity to talk to Petruso's dad before the game, giving him trouble about.
Lafada shot again. Actually, it was a pass in, I think. Blocked by Ellis.
Yeah, us playing together growing up in college and everything, and some of his friends heard me talking about it during the game last week and called him and said, hey, who's the guy talking about you on the air, and had to explain. Then we went back to this very important 3v3 tournament that we won in
corner kick from St. Dominic, punched out by DeGrief. We'll get back to that 3-on-3 tournament in a second.
It's a great story time. You got to hear it.
That is out for a St. Dominic throw. Wanted to take it quickly, but nobody there. As they'll cut inside. Again, everything very incisive from the Crusaders. Schmidt has drifted in from the right. He's stymied. And now Lafada tries to turn, working against Garoni. Lafada on the left, now Petruso. Flicks it in. On the turn, give and go back to Petruso. That's blocked by Ellis and Garoni.
Yeah, that pendulum starting to swing back the other way just a little bit now. We can't get out of our own end.
And that's foul committed by Schmidt, and it will be a CBC free kick. I am eager to hear about the 3-on-3 turn. We'll save it for the second half, maybe?
No worries. We always talk about the Twellman family, who are part of the City SC organization. And so used to manage the Jamestown Sports Complex back in the day, the indoor soccer facility with the Twellmans. And so they had a big 3v3 tournament, and there were 6 of us in this tournament, and we got to stop the story again.
Yep. They're really doing their best to put the damper on that story. Clee Schulte crosses in. LaFata gobbles it up. There's been a little bit of space, kind of about 25 yards out. CBC's defense can get a little bit flat. Midfield can get sucked in a little bit, which is leaving a lot of space in a good attacking area. At this point, we might have to wait to the second half to hear the conclusion of that story. We'll call it a first half tease and the second half because I think we're probably in for a few seconds of action here. This is Garoni. Dribbles in, still Garoni. Loses it.
I like how he put his head down, though. You could see it from this angle. He just put his head down and said, I'm going to just barrel right through here.
Nicoletti intercepts. 30 seconds remaining in the half. Pace has ratcheted up. Now Martin. He's going to have help inside, but he might have to wait for it. Garoni's at the far post. Makes it all the way through to him. Good first touch. Garoni with the left, and that is 3 points in the wrong sport. It will be a goal kick. It will most likely take us to half scoreless. Yeah, and they're going to go ahead and call half early, so no reason to make everybody stand out there.
Our clock was just 9 seconds ahead.
Okay, so that is the end of the half, I was going to say. But that is going to do it for the first half. All in all, usually tends to be a pretty even game when these two teams match up. You'd have to say St. Dominic got off to a bit of a sharper start. CBC has grown into it, and really it's positioned for a very, very watchable second half.
Yeah, I would say so. If you had to break this down, I would say maybe right now 60-40 down controlling the game, but we have kind of fallen into, like what you've said, some movement. We've had some scoring opportunities. And it's, like I said, I think it's going to come down to one of those games where one player or one positioning mistake is going to make the difference. It's going to be a through ball or a misplayed ball, and boom, in the net. These guys are too good on both ends, both their forwards and our forwards, to not take an opportunity and drive one home. So it's going to be fun.
It will. We're going to step aside for a few minutes. We'll have more Champions League soccer and the great 3v3 story of 19-something when we come back. So stick around. We're going to step aside for about 7 or 8 minutes, and then we'll be back. You are watching the Cadet Student Network. Welcome back to the Tim Kylo broadcast booth. Tom Eichwald, Randy Gardner, getting set to bring you the second half of CBC versus St. Dominic here in the second semifinal of the inaugural season of the St. Louis High School Champions League. The DeSmet Spartans know they will be playing on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Creve Coeur Complex. They are awaiting this game to determine who will compete for the first ever Champions League title here in St. Louis. CBC and St. Dominic scoreless at the half. We saw St. Dominic get off to a very, very sharp start. Took CBC a little while to grow into the game. They were finding it toward the end, and if this second half is anything like the last 10 minutes of the first half, it is going to be a lot of fun. And Randy, I agree with something you said off air right before we went back on, that this does not feel like a game that's going to end 0-0.
Yeah, this is either going to be a 1-0 game or a 4 or 5-0 game for one team. You kind of feel that's the way it's kind of going.
Narcitis on the turn is matched up against Lafada. Looks like CBC starting the half exactly the same as they started the game.
Yeah, I think this half's going to come down to finding space, finding that ball right there, that simple ball, touch, switch fields, and then look for a through ball. That's going to be what wins this game for one team or the other.
Berkey going to play it out wide for Crowder. Still Berkey, closed down very quickly by Cooney. And there's Crowder's ball in. Brought down Rook, tried to control, and it's going to be St. Dominic clearing it. St. Dominic is wearing the navy blue jerseys, navy blue shorts, light blue socks. They're going right to left across their screen in this half, and the Cadets wearing all white uniforms, special jerseys for the occasion, going left to right across your screen. At the top of the broadcast, we mentioned that this is, of course, a very special night for St. Louis soccer, but a rare privilege to us to be a part of something that Coach Mickler has never even been a part of, and that is a high school Champions League semifinal. So this is something very special, and we're glad we can bring it to you. We hope you're warm and cozy at home. We certainly are in our press box here at Liberty High School.
Yeah, during the beginning of the year, we couldn't wait to talk about our air-conditioned Tim Kylo press box. Now it's the heated Tim Kylo press box, and I know we've got all these fans out here watching the game in the stands. It's very important, but it's important to keep us warm broadcasting, right?
True. Got to keep us happy. That's the goal.
Yeah, a big thanks to Carrie Eldridge here at Liberty High School for the accommodations, getting us into the press box, letting us be on top of the press box to shoot camera. So we appreciate it. You know, you'll look around at pretty much all the schools across the St. Louis area in terms of accommodating us for our broadcast through all these years. It's been great. So want to say thanks to everybody out there who has been part of maybe watching tonight, that has allowed us to come to your school and do these games at your school. It means a lot to us. It means a lot to our viewers.
Dominic resetting the attack. The spell came from maybe not Stone to Grief's best pass out ever. It was picked up at about the 30-yard line, and Dominic hasn't really relinquished it as they were turning up the pressure here. Petruso lets it go to Lafada, left foot goal.
Wow, that's a nice shot there. He could Stone didn't even move because of the way he positioned his body in terms of striking that ball. You couldn't tell if he was going to shoot to the left or to the right, and he swung his hips all the way through.
And a great finish, but really heads-up play by Petruso. He's coming back, kind of does the dummy, lets it run past him, and that was what gives Lafada the time and the space. So 1-0 St. Dominic, and really well-worked goal. We told you it only takes a pass or two, and there you saw it.
And that dummy over the ball created so much space right there, a good 5 or 6 yards for him to be able to stop it, get his head up, and hit that shot. And as I mentioned, if you were able to see that there in terms of the strike, just left Stone just standing.
One of the things they've done really well all night, you saw it on the goal there, is using the vertical space in front of the penalty box. Sometimes you can get caught a little bit lateral. I think CBC has a couple times tonight, but really varying the looks, and that is a tackle from behind as that's out. I think some appeals for a call but mostly from the stands and not from the players. But going back to the point of varying it, of leading the attack and then dropping deep and switching up who's going to be the most forward player and kind of drawing players out, opening up spaces, doing that, I think that's been a masterclass from the Crusaders in that. And I'd say credit for the full team. I know we talk about the attack a lot, but they've been good at the back, too. Really haven't opened up a whole lot of windows for CBC.
And we saw that with the Cadets for a while during the half, where we had a lot of movement of players just from position to position, maybe just from attacking from the left side to the right side and not knowing where that player is at.
And that's a foul on Rook. While we have a second, we mentioned all of the kind of athletic departments that host us and make these broadcasts possible. Of course, none of it's possible without our presenting sponsor, Tim Kylo. If you have anything that could possibly be insured, if you have a life, a boat, a car, a home, anything, you want to insure it, and I know you want to save money on it too. So give Tim a call, 314-842-4442, or send him an email, tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com. Greco's cross in is met by Ellis. Danger not gone yet, though, as Cleeschulte picks it back up. You see LaFada trying to flip it over the top. And Stone DeGrief's going to get started very quickly.
Yeah, a big thank you to Chick-fil-A on Manchester Road as one of our sponsors throughout the years. Thought you were going to hit me, Tom.
No,
there.
I was pointing to Stevie Jones.
Keeping the ball coming.
Nolan Berkey had the ball in space, and Stevie was making a nice run down this far side, and Nolan turned. That's one of those things that I think Stevie's probably going to say something to him next time, and I would be surprised if Berkey didn't find him next time that happens. Could be an opportunity here, though. A shot from Berkey, and that is not going to trouble.
You know how it is up here, though, Tom. You see
so
it
easy to see space.
When you watch football on TV and there's a wide open guy, or you watch a soccer game, and you're calling it, that you see the space so easily from up here.
I don't know that there's an opportunity here. Berkey picks his eyes up, sees the goal. It takes a friendly deflection off the back leg of Mason Phillips, but in the end, it's Pasha who grabs it. I was just about to say, I don't know that there's anything in sports quite like the central midfielder in soccer, because you are at once, wrestling, you're in foot races, and in all the contact, you have to be constantly looking around you and recognizing where there is space on a field. Just the ability to think through that under pressure it never ceases to amaze me. When you watch a good central midfielder play, it is truly amazing. So we talk about something as simple as just keep the ball coming on a switch. You got guys coming from every which direction. You look around, there are 21 other guys you see in your vision at any one moment.
Right.
I mean, that's the ability when you really see it played well is just so impressive.
Yeah, and I think that position is one of those positions where you get to the point where you have to understand. Let's go ahead and call this real quick.
Yeah, Berkey flips it over to the near side. This is Stevie. He's got support from Nicoletti. Nicoletti likes to cut it on the left. Does well to find Berkey. Berkey into the middle. Martin was there, but never found its way through to him.
Yeah, I started to say that's that position where you've got to keep your head on a swivel and understand what you're going to do with the ball before it even gets there. Before that ball gets to your feet, you have to have your head up. You have to have people talking to you, understanding where the movements. And that really comes down to the club and the philosophy of a coach on, hey, do we take that ball and switch fields with it quickly, or do we try to take that ball and shove it right down their throat?
Ellis's throw ends up working its way all the way across the field to T.J. Crowder. Pocket of space for Berkey. A good block by Schultz. As you can see, Berkey was eyeing that far post. And this is going to be cleared almost to midfield. Martin now dropping a little bit deeper. Right now, Berkey has dropped in under Ryan Rook. That is a change from the first half. We saw Rook playing at the base of the midfield for much of the first half with Berkey leading the line. Now Rook is leading the line with Berkey dropped in underneath him. Good strength from James Martin. So CBC lined up numbers-wise about the same as the start of the game. A little bit different look with the midfield. Back four, you got Hartzell and Ellis in the middle. T.J. Crowder at left back. Adam Nicoletti at right back. James Martin looks like he's playing at the base of the midfield. with some combination at any given moment of Norkitis and then Berkey in front of him. Right wing is Stevie Jones, left wing Carter Griffin-Horst, and your striker is Ryan Rook.
Right now, can't really get a feel for who's in control of this game. It's kind of back and forth. 20, 30 seconds one team, 20, 30 seconds the other team.
Really kind of maybe taking a few minutes to reach the level we had there for a bit at the end of the first half. But, if you're St. Dominic, you get exactly what you want. You come out, you get the goal right after halftime. It's 1-0. I mean, it's so quick you can almost forget there was a goal, and it's not just a continuation at 0-0 of kind of a cagey game. But
it kind of feels like a 0-0 game right now.
It does. The goal happens, and then everything kind of settles right back in. Here's Lafada. It was a good idea. It's met well by Hartzell. Now Martin. Berkey. Gives it away in the middle. Lafada on the turn. He's got help alongside him from Gavin Kleeschulte. Just over 10 minutes gone here in the second half. If this result holds, St. Dominic has a date with De Smet on Saturday in the first ever Champions League final. The Cadets would love to turn that around. Of course, this is an elimination game, so there is no such thing as a tie. If we're even after regulation, it would go to 2 10-minute periods of golden goal overtime. If tied after that, it would go to penalty shootout. That is exactly what happened just before this game as De Smet eliminated Liberty.
And you got a little bonus coverage here if you tuned in right at, well, actually, it wasn't until like 7:20.
Petruso with the right foot. You can see exactly what he was thinking. I know Braden gave everybody a great shot of that from up on top of the press box, but just wide. We've mentioned Tim Kylo. We've mentioned Chick-fil-A. I want to thank all of our sponsors. Mercy Sports Medicine. They're a top-tier Catholic health system nationally. They take great care of our student-athletes, and they'll take great care of you, too. You can visit them, learn more online at www.mercy.net. We hope you never need them. But if you do, they are fantastic. Mercy.net. There's a shot. DeGrief can't handle it, and that is a good reclaim by Stone.
A good bounce. That ball kind of had that backspin on, came right back to him. That was very fortunate there.
But a great job by Stone to stay tall and keep that ball in front of him. You don't lunge at it and try to catch it too early. You keep it in front of you, you go get it. A lot of times if it bounces right, you're going to get that backspin that kind of brings it back into you as opposed to the attacker. So well played in the end by Stone. Morgan can't control it, and Morgan goes the other way.
I was going to say, and Tom does know what he's talking about because Tom's a keeper.
There were a lot of them I didn't handle. And every once in a while, you get every goalkeeper's favorite thing. You position yourself absolutely correctly, and despite everything you can do, it just bounces right up into your chin and jams that jaw.
I think it's a throw-in.
It is. That's down in
it's hard to tell.
A recess of the field. It's hard to see from up here. Got to lean out just a little bit to see it, but that is going to be a throw for St. Dominic as they're making a substitution, so we'll hold on for a second. Gives us a chance to thank BSN Apparel and Under Armour. They are the official apparel provider of Cadet Athletics. They keep our players and coaches looking great on the field, and they can help you look even better than you already do as well. You can shop the team stores through the Athletics website or anytime at bsnsports.com.
Athletic Republic, want to thank Charlie McDaniel for his contributions to CSN throughout the years here. We've been trying to get him on the air to come on and talk soccer with us, but the conflict with his schedule and our schedule with the games is just not allowed him to be here. So I want to say a big thank you to Athletic Republic.
Petruso's corner is a right-footed one. It's a good one. Ball is still loose. We're going to get a whistle as Stone went up for that one and got knocked. They're going to call that a foul against St. Dominic, and that'll be coming out. But really nice ball in by Petruso in a dangerous situation there. This came down really awkwardly for Stone. Dominic will work it around. That's Schultz. A long ball played forward by Phillips. And that's going to be out for a CBC throw.
Really can't get a grasp on the game right now. To kind of start to explain and feel, it's almost like a kick-pass game right now with a couple opportunities. Nobody really controlling anything. You see it here. You'll get 3, 4, 5 passes, and then it just seems to kind of fall apart. Like that, there, just a kick, a random kick, and then the momentum just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, if you were late getting back after halftime, Charlie LaFada's goal just after the restart makes it 1-0. It was ball played in, straight down Broadway, you have to say. As Petruso kind of dummied it, left it for LaFada in behind him just inside the top of the 18. And LaFada expertly gave Stone to Grief no chance, made it 1-0, and then we went right back to kind of a stalemate-y type game.
Yeah, great job there by Martinez. That could have been trouble with that second little lunge he had there. Maybe saved the breakaway.
Yeah, but this is going to be a free kick for St. Dominic.
Tom, I haven't had any updates. My team that I coach, we played at 8 o'clock tonight, and assistant coach is taking over the reins, and it's got to be getting close to over. I haven't got an update, so maybe we're losing and they don't want me to know, or it's 0-0.
As this one is lobbed in, Stevie Jones chests it down, and that'll be out for a throw. Maybe just a little too busy with the chalk, kind of expertly reworking the tactics mid-game to make adjustments.
On the youth game, you mean?
On the youth game, yeah. It's hard to text when you're drawing out the old
my wife. This day and age, with even like high school sports, when somebody scores,
it could happen here. No, poked away by Hartzell.
There's a Twitter feed immediately. Whatever. Whenever there's a goal, it goes off on the update thing, and it's incredible the way youth sports work now.
Get goal updates for youth sports now?
Goal? Oh yeah. As soon as when somebody scores, it'll pop up and say goal scored by so and so and 1-0, and yeah, it's incredible.
That is amazing. It's another corner for St. Dominic. Last one was a good one, resulted in a foul on Stone to Grief. And that is headed down, and that's a goal. That is put in by Chase Morgan. So 2-0 St. Dominic, and this is a dangerous situation for CBC, just as you said, Randy. If you fall behind by 1 or 2, you can start chasing, and a lethal attack like the Crusaders have can really make you pay. So dangerous situation for the Cadets.
Yeah, now you have to push, and that's one of those balls that comes across. You've got 5, 6 guys from each team in the box, and just from here it's a little hard to see, but maybe just a misjudged ball. It's a 50-50 ball, and goes against you. That's one that could have been headed out just as easy outward as it was inward.
So 2-0 the score. Goals from LaFada and Morgan here in the second half after a scoreless first half. As this result stands, St. Dominic would advance to the Champions League final. The Cadets would be eliminated here in the semis. We still have 22 minutes and 30 seconds to go, though. I say this game is going by very quickly.
Yeah, this is where you have to stay composed right now, because this is where a game can really get away from you. It can turn 3, 4, 5 quickly. The next goal in this game is so huge. A goal for CBC puts you right back in it as we make some offensive changes here. Looks like Nico Gabaroni coming into the game. Colt Beck coming back in. And I think that's Dylan Trost, I think.
And that is, we got a whistle.
Yeah,
looks like offside.
Pretty sure Dylan Trost up in that attacking midfield. Not to borrow your goggles. Actually, you know what? It's funny you mentioned that. I got my binoculars out last night when I got home and looked at the moon. Did you see the moon last night?
I did notice it.
Bright and gigantic, and I got the goggles out. I got my wife's bird watching.
The binoculars?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I moon watched. That's what my life has come to. I'm fascinated by looking at the moon at like 9:30 at night.
Did you go out last week looking for the Northern Lights? Could have been another opportunity.
I didn't even realize it until the next day, till I saw a story about it.
Got a Champions League semifinal. We're talking about astronomy here. Want to share a make and model of the binoculars for the folks at home as well?
I'm not sure what they were.
And we still got to go back
They're
to
good bird watching goggles.
That's good. We still got to go back to the 3-on-3 story at some point. But right now, St. Dominic is really enjoying their soccer. That's Schmidt over there on the far side. As they turn in, that's going to be a foul called against a very frustrated Dylan Trost. And this will be a free kick in a really dangerous area for St. Dominic. You'd have to imagine Petruso is probably going to put this one on frame.
I can make the story real short before this even went. We ended up winning the 3v3 tournament, and we played against all these guys who, within the next couple of years, were all playing professional soccer. We ended up winning it, so that was like a feather in our hat. So that's the end of the story.
The Petruso Gardner.
All that built, Tommy Orlando, a couple other guys, but those were Tommy Orlando's my brother-in-law now. We grew up, he worked for me, and then
it's headed over by Christian Schultz. This will be a goal kick for CBC.
And then I met my wife at his wedding. How about that? So me and him grew up together, played soccer together, played college soccer together, and then we end up marrying sisters. It's crazy the way the world works,
Can't make
right?
it up, can you?
You can't. All right, back to soccer here.
Well, and whose binoculars would you have borrowed if that hadn't happened?
That's true. I maybe have to borrow yours.
Yeah, you might. All right, 19 minutes to go, just over halfway through this second half. The Cadets trailing 2-0.
You always didn't have those binoculars, though, in all the games that we used to do.
I forget what it was. There was a particular game that drove me to Target after the game.
I think when they had the yellow striped jerseys on. I'm almost positive that's when it was.
But the broadcast bag is usually well stocked with binoculars, cough drops, Scotch tape, all the tools.
Kleenex tonight.
Kleenex. Anytime you got a cold night, you got to bring the Kleenex just in case. And that's a right-footed shot, sails wide from Mason Phillips.
And now it feels like we're just trying to hold on for a while, just to try to get that momentum. And that's what happens when a team gets that second goal.
So DeGrief is going to take it short to Ellis. Now Norkaitis on the turn. Credit to St. Dominic. They have not backed off the intensity. Probably not going to throw quite as many men forward. They certainly don't have to, but anytime CBC has the ball in space, they're getting closed down just as quickly as they were at the start of the game. So the work rate from the Crusaders is outstanding, and the Cadets certainly have their work cut out for them.
Well, and one thing you have to realize as a player on the field is that the game's only 2-1. It might feel like you're out of this game, but you score one goal, you're right back into it. We saw that in the game before us. I believe it was 2-0 to Smet, and then I believe it was 2-0, then 2-1, and then 3 or 2-2, and then 3-2, and then 3-3. So at this level, you just got to keep playing. You got to keep playing your game, and do what you practice, and something good will eventually happen.
For clarification, score 2 ahead of him to the left. Might have drifted offside, though, as Lafata turns. Supporting is Chase Morgan. 1 and 2 touch soccer from the Crusaders. Good intervention by Ellis. And trying to control it there was Connor Camps, but unable to bring it down. Now Martin, who's come back over to this right side. We saw him used there very, very well at the towards the end of the first half. So I like that he's back out there. You got Trost, Norkaitis, and Beck as your central midfielders. And give and go attempted. Good job by Nick Martinez to stand there. Took a soccer ball to the face on a cold night defending that one. So tip your cap to him.
Here we're just to let everybody know, we had a couple little drops in our signal here a couple of times. We're using a hotspot and not hooked to an Ethernet source here. So
Dangerous throw headed down. And Garoni's saying it came off somebody's hand. I was going to say based on the angle, it looked like it could have, but certainly not enough to move our officials, as it was another dangerous throw from Ellis.
Well, and that's exactly what we're talking about. The opportunity right there could have totally changed the game. And they come very, very quickly.
St. Dominic player went down, claimed he was fouled, but we play on. Trost back. The Cadets will reset a little bit. Hartzell under a little bit of pressure.
Just a few weeks away will be the district tournament, and I want to say it's November 9th through the 16th maybe. I was just looking. I don't have the information right in front of me, but I think it was the 9th through the 16th, and then the tournament 16th through the 23rd as far as the semifinals, quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
There's the switch. Martin comes inside. He's got space out on the wing. Finds Garoni. This is Nico. Picks his head up. He's going to pick out a pass. He's looking back post. Norkaitis came central, though. And now the Cadets could get another go. Nicoletti's going to step up. Has to control. Beck and Trost combine. Crowder's got a man coming from behind him. Crossed in. And those balls in, just finding blue jerseys right now. We get a whistle as we have a St. Dominic player down behind the play. It's Mason Phillips. Way he's stretching, looks like he might have just cramped up a little bit. Waiting to take his place is Maxwell Mueller. And do we have a change of goalkeeper for CBC? It looks like we do. So Stone to Grief is coming out. That is that Voland in there, I believe?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's Jack Voland, the sophomore goalkeeper for the Cadets. Wasn't necessarily expecting a change of goalkeeper there, but Voland has been solid when he has been called upon. His first action is a pass out to TJ Crowder, and the Cadets kind of passing themselves into a bit of a bad situation here. I kind of feel for the backs. I don't know that the midfield is maybe quite as active in coming back to support them. They're playing the ball out. They want to play the ball out through the backs. But then they're turning and seeing a lot of stagnant white jerseys as opposed to coming to the ball and giving different options.
Well, when you start pushing a little higher, that's where that problem happens. If you spread out. We talked about that in years past about the spacing between our defenders and our midfield. And our midfield and our forwards a lot of times might be 10, 15, 20 yards. When everything's clicking right, it's like a symphony, or the ball just kind of floats from the midfield straight up. But when you get into a game where you're down 2-0, you have to push a little bit. You almost need those guys to play a little higher. And then you start pushing, and you get sucked up, and then that quick counterattack, where like what you're seeing now is 2 passes, and you're all the way through.
Well, but you know better than I that as a coach, that's one of those points where there really isn't a whole lot you can do. It's down to kind of is this back for Voland under pressure, and that is absolutely terrifying for a goalkeeper. But
he did a great
well.
job.
He found Hartzell, and the Cadets cleared. But that is certainly a way to get the heart pumping as you come into a game.
First touch, second touch, and
really tip your cap for Voland for those touches. But as a coach, those sorts of spacing things, you can maybe get word across that you need to move back. But as situations develop so fluidly, that's where it's really kind of down to the players on the field to kind of find where those pockets are. So that's kind of what needs to happen for CBC right now. Just got to kind of figure it out and get something to click. As Greco takes a shot, and that is wide of Voland's right-hand post. Goal kick. Mentioned him a little bit ago, but certainly want to ask, Cadet fans, are you protected? Call State Farm agent CBC alum Tim Kylo for all your insurance needs. Tim is more than just the best insurance guy in town. He's the presenting sponsor of CSN, and we're incredibly grateful for his support. Call Tim at 314-842-4442 or send him an email, tim@timkylo, that's KILO.com. This is Lucas Satilli. He's unable to make any headway. And James Martin will give Nico Garoni something to chase. Garoni gets up there. That should be out for a CBC throw, and it is. So potential opportunity here as Ellis hustles forward. So a good chance here to lob something in there with 12 minutes to go. Just need something to get yourself back into this one. Going to get a good running start. Ball boy over there is going to get a great look at this. Watch and learn, young man. Look at that. Basically chuck that to the near post.
Yeah, we've had this. We talked about this. Can you throw the ball straight into the goal on the throw-in? And the answer was no.
It is indirect, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Did we settle that? We looked that up on here?
If the keeper touches it and it goes in the goal, then it's a goal.
Right.
Or any player.
Somebody else has to touch
it. Yeah.
Done a lot of games, Randy. Did we see that one time? Did we see the ball get thrown in and they had to bring out the rule book on it?
I think it almost went in. Went in.
I remember that coming up a couple of years ago.
It was last
year? Okay.
Yeah.
The things you see. Camps. Now Garoni. Garoni shot in. That's saved. Foot saved by Pasha. Hasn't had a ton to do tonight. The St. Dominic goalkeeper. Really, the defense in front of him, I think, has been very good.
Yeah, nice job there by Nico to get a left-footed shot off nice and low and really make the keeper work for that one.
Yep. Just over 10 remaining. St. Dominic that close to an appearance in the first ever St. Louis High School Champions League final on Saturday night against Desmet, 7 o'clock at Creve Coeur Soccer Complex at the lake there on field number 1. Petruso trying to turn. Hartzell matched him step for step. Attempting to clear, but that goes to a St. Dominic player instead. Who else? Lafata looking to find a pocket of space here. He's got Petruso. Back for Lafata, and that's a goal. Give and goal. Petruso from Lafata from Petruso, and that is 3-0.
In really tight space there. Really tight space. A lot of players will ask, why do we continue to work in these tight squares and do 3v1 and 4v2? That's exactly why you do it right there. You look at the spacing. They were maybe 4 or 5 feet apart, and they played the ball 3 times, and then the composure to put that ball away.
Really has been impressive. The technical skill, the speed at which they execute the skill, and just kind of, it's a couple times tonight just kind of carved right down the middle. With good quick skill, you get a little bit of space, and bang. 3-0 is your score. And this one's played straight in the hands of Voland.
Sorry, Tom. I know this is not the outcome that you wanted or expected out of this game. We all feel that, we know that, but you have to.
Just some minor disagreement with the throw-in, but go on.
I wasn't sure what was happening. But the takeaways from this is that you've got a couple of games left here. You've got 3 regular season games now, and then you're into the postseason. So you take what you learned from tonight, maybe what you did good, what you didn't do good. You put it into training, and you move on, and you. We haven't heard this much yelling the whole game.
No, we haven't. It's been pretty quiet on both
sides.
There's
8 minutes left.
Foul given each way.
And you learn from it. You know, it's one of those things. If you take it and you don't learn, and you continue to do some of the things that you weren't able to accomplish tonight, you do it over and over, then you're not growing as a team. But you take it, you move on, and hopefully move into the playoff run, the districts, like we mentioned, which starts really soon, because once you get there, it's pretty much you lose, you're out.
Garoni with the left foot, and that is going to be comfortable for Pasha, who's in no rush to get things restarted.
You know, and I always say this is that, you know, if you're a senior on this team, you've got 3 regular season games left, and hopefully a handful more to the state championship. But once you get into that district, you know, in the district, it's pretty much one and you're done, and your high school career is over.
Hartzell's going to take his time, get set up, throw a few extra men forward. Can't lose now. You just throw a few guys up there and try to hope you get something. You'd rather try to get that goal back with 8 minutes to go, even if it means some defensive risks. And that is out for a CBC throw. Ellis will come in again.
So next Tuesday at home against Francis Howell North. Tomorrow night, if you had that game against Gateway on your schedule, that game is canceled. And then Thursday against SLU at SLU at 6:30, and then at Fort Zumwalt South at 6:30 on the 28th to round out the season.
Another good opportunity off the Caden Ellis throw. You can tell that first ball is there. You know, he throws it in, you get that head to it first, but it's the second ball you need in that situation, just haven't gotten to.
Maybe it's a good thing I'm not getting any score.
Perhaps.
Score updates. We'll save that talk for.
Could be a bleak night scoreline-wise. As Nicoletti steps up, 6:20 remaining.
Just to let everybody know, my wife's not even texting me the score of the youth game to let me know, just said it's bad. And I don't know if that's a positive or a negative.
Got to have some suspense.
I take it negatively.
Petruso turns. Being chased down from the backside by Trost. Ellis closes from the front. Now Satilli over there on the right side. Good job by TJ Crowder to stand his ground. Now he gets Garoni going. CBC get something and try to make it interesting.
Nice turn there.
It was. Martin just couldn't keep up with it. Not much he could have done with that one, admittedly. It was a tough one to handle from Camps. Now a couple changes for St. Dominic as well.
Yeah, the one thing I hope the team doesn't do is, and the coaching staff does a good job of keeping these kids on an even keel, is that you can't get disappointed and down about this. You know, if you came out here and you played terrible, that's one thing. But you didn't play bad. You just played against a team that played really well, you know. So you got to keep your head up and just move on. It's just put this game in the rear view, learn from it, and move on.
Well, it's kind of like, when you talk about, football and, you could have the best defense in the world, but there's a couple of quarterbacks out there who can beat good coverage, and that's kind of what happened tonight. Maybe a few things you could have done, a little bit of variety maybe in the attack, maybe some of the shape wasn't quite right at times as you fell behind, but I agree. Overall, you've shown that the gulf isn't that great between you. Camps on the turn. Good switch. Now Garoni. But credit to St. Dominic for their performance. They've been excellent.
As we mentioned earlier,
it's Clee Schulte around the corner. Still Clee Schulte into the middle, and it is 4. Brad Greco makes it 4 from Clee Schulte on the assist, and it is 4-0 inside of 4 minutes to go.
We talked about that earlier. That seems usually that is kind of the way a rhythm of a game will go. Once it goes 2-0, it'll go 3-4, and it just part of the game. If the game was swapped the other way and we were up 2, it would fall pretty much the same. It just kind of happens in the rhythm of soccer. But if you're Friday night, for all our football fans, CSN will not be making the trip to do the game. They will have their own live stream. It is not through Huddle Fan. It's through YouTube, just like what we do. So tomorrow we will be putting out the link to that game on all social media platforms. And then also if you go to the CSN website where you would normally see the game, we'll have a link on that website.
This isn't good. Petruso around the corner, 5. Just a ball caught CBC napping. Petruso was alert to it, and there's nothing Volan could do as one of the best attacking players in the area gets around him. 5-0 St. Dominic. So that is the first goal for Petruso. I've got him unofficially with 2 other assists. I believe he hit the corner that Chase Morgan scored on to make it 2-0. He assisted LaFata to make it 3, and there he is with the goal to make it 5. Long ball right down the middle as CBC really just kind of playing out the difference. Slight difference between the clock you're seeing and the game clock. Game clock is at 3:35 to go, so a little bit more time than you're seeing there, but 3.5 minutes remaining, and the Cadets kind of beaten at this point. Just trying to finish out the game, keep your heads high, which they have. And for St. Dominic, you start thinking about Saturday night, Champions League final against De Smet. That is going to be quite the environment, I am sure, at Creve Coeur.
That game at 7 o'clock there. And this is where you don't want to get anybody hurt here. Nothing at the end of a game like this. Just ride this one out, make a couple good passes, try to do something constructive, try to string a few passes, maybe get a good shot on goal, and just move on.
Yep, that's out for a CBC throw as the clock ticks below 3. We were scoreless at halftime. And then goals from LaFata, Morgan, LaFata again, Clischulte, and Petruso. Just saw this one snowball a bit on the Cadets. There's another giveaway. See numbers forward. This is Petruso in again. Might be 6 here. There it is. Nothing Volan can do one-on-one with, again, one of the most dangerous players in the area. There is nothing you can do there.
Yeah, he's got such a nice, easy stride in terms of his movement, and which makes it really hard for a goalkeeper to decide where he's going with that ball because of those long strides.
Well, and when you know what a player wants to do, when you know he wants to put it on the same foot every time, you can at least attack the foot and deny him the easy angle. But when you got a player who's genuinely two-footed, there's just nothing you can do. You put yourself in the best position you can, and a tough night for Volan coming in and just not able to do much. That is back for Jack. He's going to play that out to the near side. Crowder will get back to it. Fans starting to head for the warmth of their cars. Those with the remote start feature, I would imagine, will be using it.
They can
those
warm
seat
up
warmers fired up.
Well, they can warm up by helping us carry some equipment to the car.
They can. They can. Don't know how many are going to take you up on that offer. And that is out to be a CBC throw with 1:30 to go. So looking like your semifinal scores, De Smet and Liberty earlier tied 3-3 in regulation, went all the way to penalties. De Smet winning 4-3 in the penalty shootout. And St. Dominic looking like they will advance with a 6-0 win over CBC, unless you get some sort of consolation here. And that's good save by Pasha as he takes it right off the foot of Garoni.
Good movement there. Nice opportunity. And
that'll take us inside the final minute. As the clock kind of mercifully kicks down for the Cadets. I'll be interested to see what this does for them, because on one hand, it's a game you lost. You're going to play again. Playoffs are coming, but This is certainly one that meant a lot to the program, one that you certainly wanted to, given the eminence of CBC over the years, you wanted to kind of stamp your authority on it by being the first champion. How do you respond to that? Because it's not just another loss. Camps is unable to get there, and Pasha will gobble that up and take his time. So kind of between a playoff loss and elimination that ends your season and even just a regular tournament loss, I think it'll be interesting to see how the Cadets bounce back. As we mentioned, they'll have the chance to do that on Tuesday night against Francis Howell North. That is a home game at 6 p.m. So we'll see. They take the weekend and see how they recover. Final whistle blows, and your score is 6-0 in favor of St. Dominic. Not a whole lot else you can say. Two very good teams. St. Dominic maybe just a little bit sharper tonight. They got off to a lead right at the start of the second half. CBC tried to press a little bit after it went 2-0 down. And that is what happens when you start to press against really, really good teams. And St. Dominic runs away with it. So we want to thank you for joining us. There's not a whole lot else we can say, but join us for football on Friday night. Check the link for football on Friday night. We'll direct you to the stream, and we look forward to being back with you again very soon. For Braden Spikogi up there on top of the press box, for Randy Gardner, just want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. Have a good night, everybody.